my second book called The Game Plan Strategies is coming out soon. I do have the privilege kind of giving Nevaeh some insight on what it is about. However, I would like everyone to stay tuned. So the title of the book is called Game Plan Strategies, and the acronyms are GPS. However, I know that students nowadays always need a way to kind of track themselves and to kind of, keep on a daily routine. And we know that a GPS is used as a navigation system in a car to help guide. So Nevaeh, tell me a little bit about how you plan on taking your freshman year, starting out strong, and taking the game plan strategy into effect.
So in high school, I was involved in a lot because I got used to being involved in a lot and school. But I know that my mission for college is to go in there and excel with my education.
Correct.
So this first year, that's what I solely want to focus on. It's just making sure that I'm making the most out of my classes, doing the best that I can. That way it'll prepare me for the years to come.
Awesome.
Because I want to be successful there just like I was in high school. And if it takes not doing extracurriculars at first to get there, then that's what I want to do.
Awesome, awesome. And I was going to ask you about, you've done competition cheerleading for forever. You're such a great athlete. And now that you're transitioning to college life, how has that kind of been a difference in putting down your gym shoes and now you're putting really on your thinking cap full time? Tell me about what are your thoughts about becoming a full-time student as a freshman at University of Georgia?
So luckily, I love Athens. I love the campus of the University of Georgia, so I'm super excited. However, it's very sad because I considered being a cheerleader as part of my identity. So part of me's not ready to let it go, but I know that it's time, so that way I can succeed how I want to.
Awesome. Well, you still got that spirited voice and the spirited look.
Thank you.
Most beautiful girl as ever. So I know you will have fun at University of Georgia, regardless of what you are partaking in. Now, tell me a little bit about how you plan on making each day count. You told me earlier about your high school routine. Okay, now I want to know a little bit about how you're going to transition what you have had success in to a freshman in college.
So I've already talked about this to myself. One thing that I want to do is have like goals that I set every day, whether it be make a new friend, go to office hours, maybe study for half an hour longer than I did the day before, whatever it'll be to make this huge campus feel smaller and less lonely.
Awesome, awesome. And also, Educate and Explore, we'll be checking in on you to make sure that you're holding yourself accountable, as well as we're going to give you some resources to kind of help guide you along, especially on your first couple of months.
Yes, that'll be nice.
Awesome. Now, in this new book called Game Plan Strategies, in the first chapter, I talk about 3 critical points on how to really strategize. The first point is staying true to your vision. The second point is knowing your worth and your value. And the third is evolving and changing your habits. And whether that's, short-term or long-term goal, you always have to be thinking ahead of time to stay, pretty much up to date, especially with the current technology that we have. A lot of times, students nowadays use a computer, use a cell phone. So how do you think technology has really helped improve students' resources?
I think it makes things more accessible for students. It also makes things more convenient because it's easier when you need something to have your phone right there. And for me, I know that I've been in Habersham my whole life, so to have something that's going to make communication back home easier is going to be nice for college.
That's true, that's true. Nothing against Habersham. We're a small town. We're a small town. And it's not too far from Athens. So that's good that you'll still have communication with your family. And you'll also be able to hopefully come home on some events that I have as well. Awesome. So with the second chapter in the book, I'm basically talking about how to set a routine. Now, I keep saying routine because the studies have showed if you're consistent 21 consecutive days, then that creates a great habit. Now, I know that you're going to go to UGA, go in hard, study hard, but sometimes you kind of get off track. You lose motivation. You might, join a club. You have less time to focus on academics, and that's fine. You're a student, right? So tell me, how do you plan on staying on track?
One thing that I've found very important here at home is having friends, teachers, and even my parents, just any person that could hold me accountable. So I know one of the most important things going into college will be finding the right people who I know will keep me on track and hold me accountable and make sure I'm doing what I need to do, and make sure I'm also keeping my goal in mind.
That's awesome. Everything she just said was in my 3 points. Staying true to your value, knowing your worth, and evolving and changing habits. As a student, you have to learn how to adjust, whether that's your atmosphere that you're in or whether that's your habits that you're doing daily. Now, Nevaeh, tell me a little bit about your experience and how you would help someone either in high school or either a middle schooler kind of prepare and pretty much have the mindset to never give up.
So you mentioned staying true to yourself, and I found what's most important when you're applying to college and when you're going to these orientations and applying for scholarships, they want to know what makes you you. Correct. So it's easy to look good on paper, but what's hard is to stand out on paper, because especially when you're not having things like interviews, it's what they're going to read about you that's going to stand out and make them want you. So it's always good to remember who you are and what your values are. And so that way they're seeing when they're reading these things, wow, I like this about her, or I like that she's different because of this. And so make yourself stand out. And being who you are is what's going to make you stand out instead of trying to be like everybody else.
In other words, be a game changer, right?
Yes.
And go all out. Everything she has done has been above and beyond. Nevaeh, so this upcoming year, I will be presenting one high school student with a scholarship called Beyond the Journey. Now, I would like you to help come back and present this award because I feel that you were very well honored and deserved. And however, I do want you to actually become a mentor and kind of give back to the community and to the students in this area. Would that be something you'd be interested in?
I would love to. I would love to do that.
As the CEO of Educate and Explore and Premier Lead Marketing, my passion has always been to give back to others and to not only have the resources available to the youth in the community, but to actually give them a way to help explore the world with new opportunities and new atmospheres. So with the Educate part, I do have the 2 books, the 21-Day Success Plan, and then the Game Plan Strategy book. However, the second part of my company is called Explore. Now, explore can mean different things. We know that the youth nowadays have many opportunities to do different activities. However, with Educate and Explore, the main goal is to help kids discover more. And that's through exploring new places and exploring new possibilities. So mentoring is all about getting to know, first, someone personally, and second, for them to know you. There's got to be interaction, there's got to be communication, there's got to be credibility. So I'm going to take a couple minutes to dig deeper and to find out a little bit about the real Nevaeh Brown. Now here comes the fun part. Let's dig a little deeper and find out a few interesting questions that most people probably didn't know about Nevaeh. Now Nevaeh, if you could be any animal, what would you be?
I would definitely have to say a lion or a lioness just because of my personality. I see myself as a leader. I'm very fierce and I have a go-getter attitude. So.
Awesome, that's right. Fierce, I like it. And sassy too. All right, if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go?
I would definitely go to Europe, I think, because of all the history and the architecture and just the new experiences that I would have on the other side of the world. And it would definitely be different from home, and that's what I'm hoping to achieve when I go to college, so that's definitely where I would want to go. to travel.
Awesome. See, there goes that explore part I was talking about. Adventuring to new places, exploring new possibilities and places. All right, third question. Nevaeh, if you could become a teacher, what subject would you teach and why?
Okay, I have two in mind. I would either teach math, because my favorite thing about math is you for sure have to get an answer. So with math, you know when you get the answer wrong. And the second subject would be English, because I love that when I take an English class or a language arts class, it's more about digging deeper and it's more about interpretation. So you come up with the answers. You decide what you think is best. And I think that's what really makes people be creative, because you're challenging them to come up with their own answers instead of just having a strict answer.
Awesome. Would you be a strict teacher?
No.
Fourth question. If you could be a color, what color would you like to be?
Pink is my favorite color, so I would have to be pink. It's so much fun. It's sassy like me, and it stands out.
So, on any given day, if you could just lounge around, hang out, not think about school, not think about work, what would you want to do?
Well, I'm always so busy, so I think I would sit at home in my Snuggie and I would binge watch Netflix.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, I have one more question I have to sneak in. If you could, what would be your dream job right now? Without going to University of Georgia, if you could just have a dream job right now, what would it be?
I would be president of the United States.
Ooh, awesome. Maybe the first female president.
So now it's my turn to ask you some questions with you being a mentor.
Okay.
So what was the transition like once you graduated from college and you started your career path? How was that?
Okay. Well, similar to your story, I did have a goal in mind, a plan in mind, and I had a strategy. And the great thing about my kind of transition from college to career life is I had a mentor. I had a teacher here at Piedmont College that actually helped me apply for jobs, get my resume out there, put down all my skill sets onto paper, and basically submit everything out. However, it took a lot of work, and as we know that the job market is competitive. So my first career job was actually working for the Gwinnett Braves baseball team, now known as the Gwinnett Stripers. But just, being accepted and actually having the interviews and, that whole process was a couple of weeks long. So the transition for me started immediately after I graduated from college. Luckily and gratefully, I was able to have my first job within 2 months after graduating from college.
Wow. Also, what kind of time and energy do you have to put in now being a mentor and an entrepreneur?
Wow, don't you see my face? Don't you see bags under my eyes? You know what? It has its advantages and disadvantages. You just have to stay true to your vision, and that's the reason why I wrote the book, Game Plan Strategies. Living day to day is hard and tough, but without a plan, that makes it even tougher. And I'm a mom, and I have 2 businesses plus 2 new books. So, balancing the work life plus the mommy life is not always easy. But at the end of the day, it's like my passion drives me back to basically my purpose. And my purpose has been to give back and to help other young ladies like yourself.
Okay, so what has been the most rewarding things about being an entrepreneur and some of the most difficult things?
All right, let's start with the good part first, which is the rewarding part. Just seeing me affect other kids mentally, physically, financially, just giving them a hope or a second chance. That's always rewarding at the end of the day. Like you said, as an entrepreneur, you put in so much time and effort, and to see your fulfillment going into help positively affect others' lives, that's just the best part for me. I can wake up every day and say, hey, I've tried to help students day by day to help them get to their next level.
I've also seen how you've helped me, and I'm thankful for that. And I know that there's other people out there who are wanting to do the same for others. So what advice would you give future mentors and entrepreneurs?
Awesome. And as you know, a local resident of Habersham County, I've also kind of been in contact with a lot of the organizations and kind of being involved with some churches and other schools as well. So I highly encourage students to find a mentor, which is critical in helping you succeed. And not only that, to have a game plan strategy. And that's what's so important about the book that's coming out. If you don't have a vision, you don't have a purpose, then that kind of sets you back from somebody that does. And we know that this is a competitive world, and if you're not physically prepared, mentally prepared, then you might just be stuck at plan B. And I know that plan A is always what everybody wants to happen, but sometimes you got to have a plan B as well. And that is to execute and to go after what your vision was at first. Wow. We've had such a great day. And the main purpose of us being here today is to help students educate.
And explore.
Educate.
And explore.
Awesome. Great job. Students, put your game face on, go out, dream big, and always remember to educate and explore.